Hello, I am live. Okay, we are live. Hey guys, I am so happy to be here chatting with y'all live about referrals and intakes. But first, referrals, because I got this question about how do you handle an influx of referrals, right? And so, if you are new here, I'm a school social worker. I want to know, what do you do? What's the first thing when you start getting an influx of referrals? And you can let me know in the chat, and some of you may not know at all like what to do, and that is completely okay. That's why we are chatting live today. And so I'm excited to really get into this and actually go live every other Tuesday is what I'm thinking. Anyway, we'll see, hopefully. But with an influx of referrals, let's jump into it. As a school social worker, pretty much the whole campus is your caseload, right? I got that question a lot starting off. For newer social workers, they ask me, who exactly is my caseload? It is everybody, even teachers, even parents and families. So it's really easy to get overwhelmed. And this question makes perfect sense to me because I was definitely there. So I'm going to give you three tips. Yes, three tips and then a resource. And so hopefully by the end of this video, you feel a little more ready to conquer and to answer the what's next, right? During an influx of referrals. And if you want to type in the comments how many referrals you have right now, some of us know, and I'll be honest, I don't know. So don't ask me. I will have to go to my process and see how many, because there's just so many. So I want to normalize that and validate the fact that if you don't know what your referral number is, what your caseload number is off the top of your head, you're fine. It happens to the best of us. Okay, so an influx of referrals. And just to be clear, an influx can be what, like 10 referrals coming in a day, sometimes more. Referrals that kind of catch you on the fly because people just love to throw referrals on us as we are getting ready for lunch or heading out the door or walking in the morning. I've had everything under the sun. The first thing is to prioritize. So and we can get into priorities a little bit more. If you have questions, ask your specific questions. But prioritization, guys, it's the end of the day and I'm having a hard time even formulating words, but prioritizing, let's go with that, is super important and crucial because it is going to allow you to kind of know where to start. Okay, so the way I prioritize my referrals that are coming in is there anybody in crisis? Usually with crisis, that's always going to pop to the top. And if you're not sure or you're starting new and you feel like everything is a crisis, it's not. Okay, everyone that brings you a referral is going to act like it's a crisis. Now, your job as a school social worker is to kind of jump in there and figure out what truly is a crisis and what's not. That's part of assessment. Okay. So for me, crisis has to do with safety. If safety, right, when we're doing suicide assessments, that is a crisis. Threat assessments, that is a crisis. Those are going to go to the top as far as referrals. So do not, whatever you do, try to take referrals first come, first serve. That is not, I don't recommend that for school social workers, even though it might make sense in other industries or businesses. As far as social work, you are getting paid for your level of assessment. So assess the situation, each referral as it comes in, and prioritize. Is this a crisis? Is it not? If it's not a crisis, then it can go to the bottom, not the bottom of the list, but it can go towards the bottom or second. Okay. If it is a crisis, it jumps to the top. Sometimes you may get multiple crisis type of referrals, and that's a chat for another time. um that's a chat for another time, okay? But so crisis go first, and then on the bottom is going to be maybe not so much a crisis but more needs based, right? So think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What is, at the basic bottom of those needs, right? It's your safety, it's your food, it's shelter. Those referrals come next. Sometimes that might be a crisis, sometimes it's not. Again, everyone's referral when they're sending them to you is a crisis in their mind, and that is okay. Okay, I just, because I'm talking to my school social workers right now and my social work mindset, Don't let them sway you into thinking that that their crisis is your crisis, because they obviously don't know that you're receiving an influx, right? Someone's asking, do I utilize a specific intake form for school based? Okay, big breath here, because there is no specific forms, at least not in my district. I've had to create a lot of my forms. So, yes, I use my own specific forms. Some of these I share on Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm going to talk about one of those forms next, towards the end of this live chat that we're going to spend together. However, you might find yourself kind of creating these forms, creating these systems. And that's part of why I love holding space for school social workers, because I was doing this, 12 years ago, trying to find systems and strategies. So, my first strategy is to prioritize, to get me back on track here. My first strategy is to prioritize. Know that not everything is a crisis, and that you need to kind of use your Maslow's hierarchy of needs and safety as your guidelines to see which is a crisis, which is not. Now I'm going to contradict myself a little bit, because part of my strategy is to, and I have my notes right here, is to reach out, and reach out fast. Fast, fast, fast. When you get a referral, I know I said prioritize, but I do want you to reach out within the day if possible. Sometimes it's not possible, because you can get stuck on it on a crisis referral, and it could take several hours out of your day. Okay, but you do want to reach out fast, and there's several reasons why. So, okay, there's several reasons why. Let me backtrack it a little bit. You want to reach out fast because, one, as we were saying earlier in this live chat, everyone believes that their referral is a crisis type of referral, and that is okay. So we want to reach out, because I can guarantee you, and you never know who, someone is going to follow up with you, whether it be a teacher that referred, a parent, whether it be, I don't even know, the principal, right? Sometimes, and when we're prioritizing, the principal, administrators, they're going to take a little bit higher priority, because they are going to want to make sure that that thing got done quick, 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 quick. Okay. And that's okay. That takes priority, because that is how you are going to build up your reputation as a go to social worker on your campus. So sometimes those referrals pop up a little higher, not over a safety situation, but a lot of times administrators are bringing safety situations to you. So that's something to keep in mind on a side note. But the reason why I say is reach out, and reach out fast, is because everyone believes the referral is a crisis, and everyone's going to want some follow up at some point. You don't want to be caught um, empty handed without any information. You don't want to be there. That is, that, it doesn't feel good. Has it happened to me? Yes, because I'm human, and I'm trying to give you these strategies so that it doesn't happen to you, or you don't kind of feel too guilty if and when it does happen. Okay. So when I say reach out fast, that doesn't mean solve the referral like this, because we are not miracle workers. We are simply taking the referrals as they're coming, and we're figuring out what to do with them. So when I say reach out, don't feel like you have to make contact in the way that you are already formulating a treatment plan and solving the situation and doing everything, all the things. That's not what I'm talking about. By reach out, I mean you get the referral, make contact with that student that was referred, and it doesn't have to be a long contact. It can even be a phone call. It can even be a quick, I was going to say a meet and greet. Not necessarily, I mean, you can call it a meet and greet, but it could be a quick check-in, right? Even during lunch. Hey, how are you? That was enough right there to give the person that referred that student a little bit of a follow-up. Yeah, I saw them during lunch. Oh yeah, I checked in with them. I called home. I left a message with parent, right? Do you hear what I'm saying? Reach out quickly, because when people come back for their follow-up, you will have something to respond with. Even though you're overwhelmed, it doesn't have to be a long reach out. It can just be a message, a voicemail, sending a letter home, a consent home, whatever it is. But try to do that as soon as possible, again, because everyone who's sending you referrals is going to want to follow up at some point. They might not necessarily ask you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Um, I don't know where that came from. I haven't been live in a while. They might not necessarily ask you for a follow up, but Another little bonus strategy is to send a follow up. If not the next day, then the following. Hey, thank you for this referral, right? I like to email because I want to receive my referrals from teachers and staff via email. If I could have it documented, and I know we don't always get that. I know. Trust me, I know. But I'm trying to model, right? I'm trying to model for my staff what I would like in return. So I follow up, hey, that regarding that referral you gave me during lunch, I have made a home visit, right? Regarding that referral during lunch, I left a message with parent. Regarding that referral this morning, blah blah blah. Right, fill in the blank. But I follow up 1 to 2 days, 2 days, hopefully not longer than 2 days, but I follow up so that they know I'm doing something. Because the other thing that I hate, oh my God, it's a pet peeve, is when people say, I told the social worker, I told the school social worker, I don't know what she's doing with it. God, is anyone triggered when they hear that? Because I'm not just sitting all day in an office waiting on that person's specific referral, right? We have so many pots going at once. Um, my point is you want to be able to follow up even before they ask. You want to kind of be ahead of the game. That's what shows people what you're doing, because we don't have a lot of accountability as school social workers, and that is a big reason why a lot of campuses and districts feel that they don't need school social workers when they really do. They really, really do, because we're all inundated with referral influx. You are not alone. Whoever asked this question, and it's such a good question. That's why I love coming here live to answer my subscribers' questions. Okay, so we talked about prioritizing. We talked about reaching out and reaching out fast as possible, not meaning that you have to solve the whole situation, but you do balloons. What the heck? I love this. Okay. Um, Now the system. Okay, real quick before I go, I don't like these lives to be super long. Oh, I'll do some Q and A's too at the end. I don't like these lives to be super super long because I want you to be able to watch this and get exactly what you need without having to tune into a lot of fluff. Sorry, that got fluffy there. Okay, so and then I'll get to questions, I promise. So start thinking of your questions because we have about maybe 4 more minutes, maybe less. Okay, my system. So I have a Google sheet. I am a very I like electronic based systems. I do paper and what is this? Halloween candy, guys. Gosh, how I survived and still surviving before Thanksgiving break. But I do keep my notes. I have a bunch of post-its. So I'm not saying I'm paperless, but as far as my documentation and referral system, I like to have things digitally. I like things electronically and digitally so that I can access it. And Google is one of my favorites. Google Drive, because I can access it on my phone, on any computer, as long as I can sign in. And my district is a Google district. We have Gmail. Emails. So if you haven't thought of going virtual with your documentation systems, I highly recommend it. I have a system that's in place right now, and it is on my Teachers Pay Teachers. I will share that somewhere here in stories, or I'll do a quick post on the feed for y'all if you have not heard of Teachers Pay Teachers. This is basically a resource and website for teachers and counselors and school social workers. I don't know if there's very many of us on there, but I created an account years ago to share some of my systems like this Google Sheet. It is a really quick way to document referrals coming in and the status of those referrals, because you don't want to be caught off guard. Once you get a referral, you're going to start working that referral, and there's going to be several moving pieces to these referrals, whether you referred for clothing, food, holiday assistance, whatever it is. And you want to be able to document that so that when someone comes to check on the referral they gave you, you can let them know that you did A, B, and C, or you've reached out, how many times, or you've made this many contacts. So my, I think it's called a caseload. I'm gonna put it in the feed for sure. So be sure that you are following along here. You're subscribed. Make sure that you have checked all the things, notifications, all the things, so that you can get my resources. It is a little bit of a fee because expertise, right? Know your worth. But my Google sheet is going to be under Teachers Pay Teachers. That's the website, and it's going to be also under this name, Social Work Scrapbook, right? Um, I have other things on there as well, as far as interventions for attendance and other documentation type things. Let me just give a little bit of a teaser before I answer questions real quick. I am going to create a new system because I have slowly moved away from my Google Sheet. I love it though. And if you're new to systems and things, it's simple, so simple to use. So I would definitely think about purchasing that. Um, but I've moved on to Notion. I'm going to create a Notion. And if you are a Notion lover, drop me a comment, give me a heart. I don't know. Sometimes I love organizing and systems, especially like I said, in the virtual space, digitally. So I'm gonna create a Notion for my school social workers, especially my school-based therapists. That is what I do. That is one of the questions I saw. So we're moving into questions now. What do I do? What do I really do every day? You can follow my vlogs. I'm going to put some new vlogs on here about what I do as a school-based therapist. I'm a clinical social worker working in schools. And to me, it's the best of both worlds. I get to see students individually to provide clinical counseling. It's amazing. I love my role. This is new to me this year. So I'm creating systems in Notion and things like that. So stay tuned. Anyway, I have another question on here. Let me see. Leaving a toxic workplace. How to do it. Right strategies for that. I think that might be our next week. Yeah, next week. Next week. Hey, I'm on Thanksgiving next week. So yes, next week. But definitely I would suggest leaving a toxic workplace as soon as possible, because life is too short and you have too much expertise to be just wasting away in a place that is not going to value you or your worth, and if you're not getting anything from it, right? So start drafting your resume and use this toxic workplace, where whatever it may be, use it as a blueprint for what you don't want, right? And start writing down questions for your future employers, because you want to make sure you don't get caught in the same situation again. A lot of these agencies and school districts can be very toxic. So learn how you have that real life learning experience right now. Write down what you don't like, so that when you're in interview, that's my best advice, you don't get caught up in the same situation again. Two more questions, and then we're gonna wrap up this live because we're almost 20 minutes in. What's a realistic caseload, right? Although it seems never ending. Oh my gosh. This is really going to depend on how many campuses you carry as a school social worker, or whether you are a district social worker. For me, realistically, if you ask my boss, 15 to 20 individual students is a realistic clinical type of caseload. There's some clinical social workers out there that are higher, and some that are much lower. Right now, I have a nice, comfy caseload, and it's not very high, but I am about to hit a wait list soon. So, it just depends on what type of social worker you are. There are some schools, though, to be on the bright side, in New York, that have like two or three social workers on one campus. Can you imagine? Oh my God, I can't imagine. That's a dream. So their caseloads are going to look much different, but that's why I like coming together as a community, so we can share those numbers and get some validation or normalcy around what our caseloads really look like. Let's see. Um, I'm losing my breath already. I've been talking all day, not necessarily, but I've been chatting all day with my clients, and I love coming live on here to chat with y'all too. So I've had a lot of fun. I hope that you found this live very useful. I'm going to look to see if I have a few more questions. Can I do a progress recording tutorial? Progress recording. Um, Is that a process recording? Maybe you meant a process recording. I remember those from grad school. So maybe, possibly, stay tuned. Definitely can't do that now, but I love your questions and I thank you for tuning in again today. So maybe I'll do a few more questions. Yes, process recording. So I did get some verification. Yeah, we can come back and do a process recording. I'd like to review my process recording that I did back in 2009. Okay, I'm getting rambly, so I'm gonna stop this now. But let me see. One second. Okay, I'm getting